everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another page in my Mixed Media Journal. This is a journal by Recollections, and you can find it at Michael's stores. I got a lot of new products in the mail recently. This is from Fancy Pants Designs. These papers are part of their Attwell collection, and I just picked out a few that I really liked, but here I'm showing you another glimpse of all the fun patterns and different papers they have. It's just a really fun collection. They also sent me some of these tags that I'll be using, as well as some of these buttons. They're flare. And I also have some of these puffy stickers that I'll be putting together. And these are all the same collection. It's the Attwell collection, and it's just gorgeous. So first thing I did was take this piece of paper with the flowers on it, and I just cut all the flowers apart. I was kind of thinking to myself, I don't know if this is a mistake cutting these flowers apart, but I kind of wanted to make them a little bit dimensional, make some embellishments out of them, so that's what I'm going for. So I just went ahead and I cut each of those flowers out, and now I'm kind of wrinkling them up to give them some dimension and some texture, and I'll be layering them on top of each other, and then putting a hole through the center to place a brad in there, and so that's just how I kind of made my own little flower embellishments for this page. Now these are a bunch of brads that I just have in my collection. I'm not exactly sure where I got them. I just like to pick them up when I see them on sale, and I just keep them in this little jar. So I'm just picking out different colors that I think will coordinate for my flowers. So now I have my flowers put together. I'm just giving you a closer look of what they look like. I'm taking some of my Tattered Angels High Impact paint, and this is the color Ivory. I'm just going to grab a paintbrush and put a little bit of paint along the edges of those flowers. I just like to do this with some of my flower embellishments because I just feel like it adds a little bit more detail and kind of helps those edges to stand out. So I'm just painting along the edges, and I'm going to do this on all three flowers and then let them dry. So I have all three of my flowers painted. I went ahead and hit them with my heat tool and set them aside so that I can get started on my pages. I'm just putting a piece of paper behind so I can kind of protect the other page that I already did. And I just showed you there I'm using the Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and this color is called It's Orange. It's just a nice bright orange color. So I'm spraying it on. I don't want to totally saturate the page. This page that I'm spraying it onto is kind of a glossy type page, so the paint doesn't really soak in right away, which is kind of nice because you can kind of get a more pooled effect. This color that I'm putting on now is Vintage Pink. It doesn't stand out too much from the orange, but it does give another color, and I kind of liked that look. Just sopping up some of that paint that's running there. Now I'm just hitting it with my heat tool to kind of dry it so it doesn't run too much. I don't want it to soak through to the other pages. So I dried that up, and I'm going to be putting some more layers of paint on. I'm just taking some of that vintage pink and trying to put on some splatters in the background. You can kind of vary the look of your splatters. I first started by just kind of dropping on some color there, and then I kind of flicked the spray part, and then that kind of gives you some smaller splatters. So I dried that up, and I liked the side. That side is finished now, and I'm going to move on to the other side. Now this paper is another texture. It's really thin, and it's got some texture to it, so the paint will actually soak in a lot better to this page than the other one. So that's a really fun feature about this mixed media album, is that all the pages are a different texture and a different feel, and you can use the same paints on every page and still get a totally different look. So it's just really fun to play with. Now I'm putting some more of that vintage pink onto this page as well. Trying to get just different spots. And I'm going ahead and I'm drying that. And you can kind of see down where I'm drying it. If you get some puddles with your glimmer mist, it's really kind of fun to push it around with your heat tool and get sort of a messy paint look. So here I'm just showing you what it looks like when it's dried. You can see all that shimmer on there, and it's just really gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and start layering on my paper and my embellishments on these pages. You can see I took that striped 6x6 piece of paper, and I just kind of tore it up, and I'm just putting it in different places here on my layout. I kind of already had an idea of where I wanted everything to go, but I do like to just lay it all out before I adhere anything down, just to make sure it's how I want it to look. Now I'm putting on some of those flowers that I cut out earlier. I left a few of them flat, and I didn't make all of them more dimensional type embellishments because I just wanted a varied look. Here I'm showing you some pictures I'll be using. These are pictures of my son's feet. The first one here is from our first son, Isaac. He had some pretty serious complications while I was pregnant with him, and we knew he would not live. So he was our first son, and then this, where I'm putting the tag now, this is my son Hayden's feet. And I just thought it was really sweet to have feet pictures of both of them and kind of put them out on the same page, kind of just to remember how small they both were when they were born. So now I'm just adding some of those fun tags around in different places. I am planning on doing a little bit of stamping on these tags and a little bit of, going to be using some of those stickers on them. I did think about trimming the strings from the tags, but I kind of liked how they were just falling in different places, kind of gave it that messier kind of look, and I thought it just kind of fit well with the theme of the page. So now that I kind of know where I want to put everything, I'm going to be grabbing my adhesive and start adhering everything down. Now the adhesive I'm using is Tombow's Mono Permanent Adhesive, and it's just a really nice tape runner. It sticks everything down really well, very sticky. So I'm just running it along my paper here, and I'm just going to be putting everything down where I want it to go. trying to get the placement of these tags right, so I just want to put my little cluster of embellishments there just to make sure I have it in the right area. I decided for that yellow tag I didn't want to adhere it down flat. I'm actually going to be putting some foam adhesive on the back, so that's why I decided to go ahead and put the red tag in first. And then I can adhere down my picture, and that'll help me get that placement of that yellow tag a lot better. Now for my flower, I'm using Tombow's Mono multi-liquid glue. I'll put a link to the actual name in my blog post, but this is a really great glue for embellishments. I like that fine tip applicator because it really helps to put down a small amount of glue, and it doesn't make quite as much of a mess as some of my other liquid glues do. Now I'm grabbing this stamp set. This is a 7 Gypsy stamp set, and I found it on sale at Hobby Lobby, way in the back of the racks. So I haven't really found it online. I don't know if it's available to buy at Amazon or at Corp. So that's kind of a bummer, but I really like this stamp set. It's got tons of different stamps. It's got some sale tag barcodes and like different little words, so you could use it in planners. I'm using it here to create a little tag, and it's just really fun. So I'm just looking for the right stamps that I want to use on this tag. I chose a little barcode that has expensive under it, so I'm going to stamp that on there. I'm using VersaFine Black Onyx ink. Now I took the word priceless, and I'm just stamping that on the tag as well. And then in the stamp set, there's a little tiny word, it says beyond measure. So I'm going to take that and stamp it right under the word priceless. And then I have a cute little tag that I can stick right next to my photo. Giving you a closer look. Now I have noticed with this VersaFine Black Onyx ink, you do have to give it a little bit of time to dry. I do it a lot of times where I get kind of impatient and I just start going ahead with my project and I kind of smudge the ink. And so that did happen a little bit on my tag, but it's not too much that it kind of ruins it. So I went ahead and I used it anyway. But just as a reminder, it's always a good idea to let your ink dry before you go ahead with your project. So I'm just putting my foam squares on the back of this tag so I can adhere it down next to my photo. Sometimes the little backing is kind of hard to peel off, so it takes a while. So I went ahead and I adhered down all the other embellishments. I figured if I were going to sit here and have you watch the whole thing, this video would be super long. So I just spared you some of that time. I just adhered everything down with my Tombow. And now I'm coming back in with some of those puffy stickers from the Attwell collection, and I'm just placing them around where I think they might look well. I also used some puffy alphabet stickers to spell my son's names under their photos. and I stamped their birth dates on the tags as well. I really thought these stickers were so much fun, and they go really well with the other papers and all the colors that I'm using. Usually I like to kind of limit myself to 2 or 3 colors. I kind of like that more unified look. So using a ton of different colors on a page layout like this is a little bit different for me. Usually I feel like it gets a little bit busy, but I kind of really enjoyed doing this, and it's always nice to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone and find a new little new ways to craft. So I enjoyed this layout and bright colors, so I might try to do some more of this in the future. I'm just taking some fun little triangle stickers and putting them around Isaac's name and in different little spots. This little red triangle, I was going to stick it right on this flower here, but I decided it might get a little bit too lost, so I went ahead and I switched it with the blue one. And then I think that pretty much finishes this layout. I was really impressed with all of these papers and embellishments that I got from Fancy Pants Designs. I just love them, and I can't wait to do some more layouts with them. So I hope you enjoyed this art journaling page. I know I did, and I'll be taking more pictures and putting it on my blog, so don't forget to hop over there and take a look. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you liked it, hit that like button, and I'll see you again in the future.